Michael, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Very loud and clear.
Right on.
I see you as well. I want to thank David for joining us on his vacation also. Thank you.
You're welcome. I will get things started and then I'm going to take my
Um,
You're
kids
cutting
for
in
a
and out, my
walk
friend.
on the beach. Ah, damn it.
nice.
We caught the last half of that, but little in and out. Where are you, David?
I'm in Galveston.
Awesome.
Um, Michael, can you introduce yourself so I can, what should I put on screen? Michael of American Pinball?
Sure. I'm a sales and
Let
marketing
me,
manager for American Pinball. Pinball
yeah,
enthusiast at heart.
yeah, I need
Thank
to
you for having
introduce
me.
Michael.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
So Michael and I both, I think we started playing competitive pinball together in Boston at Lanes and Games on Route
Yes.
2. And
Yes.
so we played in the New England Pinball League together. Um, I know it now. I didn't know it then, but when we started playing competitive pinball, we were playing with some killers. You
Mm.
know, uh, yeah, the people that would play after Lanes and Games shut down, we play at Flat Top Johnny's, and you go over to this guy Chuck's house, and there were so many people that I played with in New England that are better than the top guys we have here in the DFW area. And I'm not even talking about Joe and Bowen. Yeah, Joe and Bowen are top 100 players. You've got probably 10 others that are top 500 that would be top 100 if they played more.
Yep.
So it's this weird little pinball community where you end up knowing someone that works for a pinball company. And I was listening on the podcast you guys did with someone else in New England a couple of weeks ago, and it
Yeah,
was like your rules designer,
mm. Yeah,
Joe. I was
Joe.
like, wait a second,
Yeah.
I I know that guy. He does the software for the leagues. So
Yes, yes, yeah. Joe Schober also worked on Oktoberfest, and as well did the code for Alien with Highway Pinball as well. That was on the Pinball Players podcast with Jeff Parsons and Joe Lemire, who you referenced, top 25 player now. Can you believe it? Joe Lemire was sort of was my mentor on the competitive side in New England Pinball League, and that's why I'm here at American Pinball. Pinball is my passion. About 2014 or so, I saw a show on the Science Channel called Ingenious Minds, and they featured Robert Gagno on one particular episode. And at the time, I had a PlayStation. On my spare time on the weekends, would play some video games, but pinball was not present of mind. I played whenever I was on vacation as a kid at the hotel arcade or waiting for my pizza, pop in a few quarters and play, and planted a seed, enjoyed it, but it never was something I truly uh, sought after. But when I saw the show on Robert Gagno, and I said, pinball. I remember pinball. I completely forgot about it. It's sort of reverted to my subconscious. So I was at an amusement park, Canopy Lake Park in New Hampshire, and on a date, and I saw the pinball arcade. I said, "Well, I got some quarters. Let's go play." And I got a multi-ball in Lord of the Rings, and I had this sense of euphoria that I hadn't experienced in I don't know how long. And I said, "I need more of that." So I went on YouTube and I found TNT amusement videos, Todd Tucky promoting all the different games, and I looked up all the games I used to play as a kid, whether it be Whirlwind, Terminator 2, Twilight Zone. I found the Facebook groups, the enthusiast groups on Facebook, and I saw a picture of a guy with a pinball machine with a beer in front of it, holding his beer, and says, "Nothing better than a beer and pinball after work." And I thought to myself, "Wow, you can own your own game." I, so I went on Craigslist and I bought the first game I found. I bought a High Roller Casino, and then I bought a Terminator 2, and then I bought a Freddy's, and within a year, I had about 12 games. And I found the New England Pinball League. I bought the Freddy from Chuck, that you referenced, the president of New England Pinball League, and it was all uphill from there. Yeah, I discovered a network of people and a hobby that I never knew existed, and I fell in love with it. And yeah, I never knew even competitive pinball was a thing. I mean, I just played pinball because I thought it was fun, immersive, tactile, and could engage with the machine and enjoy the light shows. And if I could get into a multi-ball, great. But I found League as being a great way to hang out with like-minded people and just find other people that also like this niche hobby that I've discovered in pinball. And here I am. I had a previous career in sales. I sold games, analog games, board games, to retail stores at the wholesale distribution level, and Magic the Gathering and tabletop and collectibles and toys, and wanted to do something different. And I reached out to pinball manufacturers and heard back from American Pinball, and drove 19 hours out here with just me and my cat Jack, and started a new venture. And it's been great. It's from this side of the playfield, so to speak. It's been a real adventure, and to be a part of something I love, and to help promote it and help bring pinball to locations and homes. And it's a real pleasure, and I'm so happy to be part of it.
What's the scene like there in Boston?
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's so many locations. You've got Flat Top Johnny's. You've got it's been a while, but plenty of home collections. Let's see. Lanes of Games was great. It is no longer. But New England Pinball League is actually the largest pinball league in the world. We had over 350 players, I want to say, well into the 300s, which is pretty significant for one single league. We had representation from, at one point, every state in the league, and I would travel for various tournaments, and the hosts are so gracious. There's plenty of home collections, and it's a really great scene. We have the Boston Bells and Chimes, which is the
women's
they do a great job. Right now, they're actually hosting some virtual tournaments on the Sesame Street game. So if anyone involved with the Bells and Chimes wants to participate, you can look that up. But it's a great scene, and I've made a lot of friends, and it's been spectacular.
One of the things that I thought was good about it, and Flat Top Johnny's was a perfect example, was you actually had a younger demographic that was getting involved in pinball, and that's cool, right? And you had these 20-something girls and guys all playing together, and with us 50-year-olds almost.
Yeah, it's I'm in my 30s now, and I said to myself, well, gee, when I was in my 20s, I wish this sort of thing existed. Because my friends would drag me out to the bars. I'm not really much of a drinker, and but if there were pinball, that's a different story. So I'm really looking forward to when things begin to open up and getting back out there and in being part of the scene here in the Chicago area. I was able to do one tournament before things shut down. GameWorks here, a league.
There's still a GameWorks in Boston?
No, here in Chicago. I moved to Chicago. Yeah.
I'm shocked that there's still a GameWorks in Chicago. We had one in Grapevine, Texas, here in the DFW area. It's long since shut down. I think there's one in Las Vegas still, but yeah, shocked to hear that there's any.
But I'm looking forward to being part of the community here and helping promote pinball and just being part of the scene and really enjoying it and taking it all in. So far, I've met a lot of good people. I host play testing here on the weekends. Anyone in the Chicago area, if you're curious, feel free to email me, michael@americanpinball.com, and I can schedule something safe and socially distanced with face masks required and hand sanitizer, and we'll wipe down between games and so forth. But it's been great being part of American Pinball. It's a lot of fun. Ultimately, that's that's what pinball is all about. That's what I found. Just a good escape and a great way to have good, clean fun, and it's been a ride.
I do want to welcome Brennan and Austin and Shannon. You're all welcome to speak.
Yeah, guys, I have to jump off because of my kids are yelling. I will have to listen to the rebroadcast and hear more about Hot Wheels.
Fair enough.
Good to speak with you, David, and I'm sure we'll be talking.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
So Austin, you there?
I am here. Yeah, I just want to say, a big thanks, Michael, for you taking the time to chat with us today. Obviously, we normally sit around with a group of pinball enthusiasts, and you kind of mentioned, just like yourself, right? We got into it, separately. Some of us own machines, some don't, but that's to be expected. But speaking for me and my wife, our story is very similar to yours. We became very, I guess you'd say, re-energized by the fact, we obviously played pinball when we were dating, when we were much younger, but kind of came into the scene again a couple of years ago, and here we are now with machines ourselves. We still have some arcades, and I actually do. You mentioned your sales. I've been in sales kind of on the engineering side for probably, I guess, about 15 years now, mostly networking and security. So I definitely have a passion for tinkering with things, but I've certainly never created anything like this. And I just wanted to say, as kind of the intro, just to kind of set the tone. I watched the play on this game, and I was blown away by it because, a lot of us had planned to go to Texas Pinball Festival, and we'd seen the announcement. We wanted to see it there. I mean, we're hungry for the next game from everyone, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see it there, just like everyone else. And so when we finally got to see it, so many cool things that I think y'all did, and I know we'll get to it. I don't want to consume the whole conversation, but I've got some notes about just some of the cool things that I feel like y'all have done on this machine. And it wasn't that I was surprised, because I like your other stuff too. I mean, play Houdini, I like Houdini, right? It's just that I was blown away by how well you've done some of the things on this game, and I'll throw out a few just to kind of get some of the conversation going, if you want. But
Sure.
Little things like the fact that the cars can be changed. I know that's
Yes.
trivial, right? I mean, shipping hook and loop to be able to put on new cars. That is so cool to me. And then if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but if I remember correctly, when I watched some of the video on it, and the video that I saw, it was stated that your organization had actually done some testing in households with like younger kids, and gotten feedback from them, and I think you personally just knocked it out of the park with this, and just candidly.
Thank you. Yeah, there really is something in this game for everyone. We tried to have an approach where, with location in mind, but also the home collector. Whether you're a pinball expert, a pinball wizard, and you're looking for that tournament scoring strategy, there's plenty of depth for you. Or if you just want to explore the modes and progress into the game, there's plenty of that. Or if you've never played pinball before, the shots feel good. They're mostly makeable. There is one tight shot, the kicker, player-facing kicker, but the reason why it's tight is it's very valuable. It gives you like a limited 10x scoring opportunity for about 10 seconds. So if you care about the scoring and you want to be strategic about when you want to use that 10x multiplier, you can really be strategic. But the game is fun. It's based on. We have assets from Hot Wheels City, which is a popular show on YouTube, and going into its 4th season. And I've watched most of the show to this point, and it's fun. It's like stop animation, kind of claymation. A lot of people want to compare it to Robot Chicken, a show I've never seen personally, but it's fun. It's campy. It's it's good, clean fun. You have the news lady who sort of gives you news updates and news flashes when there's a particular creature that's causing havoc, whether it's you get the T-Rex, you've got the gorilla. Can you get the gorilla on its skates and topple the gorilla, or can you topple the triceratops? Can you defeat all the creatures and get to Draven? There's a wizard mode that you can achieve by accomplishing certain. You collect hero cars, which is if you there's 5 different hero cars you can collect by achieving certain game accomplishments. Which personally I haven't done it yet on my own. I have play tested with the glass off to see if I could break the game. Searching, just part of testing the code and making sure everything works properly. But I'm a pretty good player, above average. I'm not certainly one of the top level players, but I would say I'm an above average, middle of the pack competitive player. And I haven't made my way through to the wizard mode or some of the other mini wizard modes like Draven. You can battle after you defeat after you fight all the creatures. But you mentioned swapping out the cars. I'm actually a legit Hot Wheels collector. I love Hot Wheels. I brought some Hot Wheels of my own, and this weekend then I picked up. Yesterday I picked up the new Stars and Stripes series at Walmart from. It's a patriotic sort of theme, and I installed some into the game this week today, and I'm going to do a post on social media promoting, just showing the patriotic cars, and you'll see that on Instagram and Facebook, in a couple of days. But the fact that I can put my own cars in the game, to me, is kind of cool. And if you're a kid, I mean I think that's pretty fun. If you're they have Hot Wheels City cars, and you could put the Cobra car that's actually in the game. I think that's kind of cool.
Oh, I think that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, you touched on so many things there. One, that theme integration with the Hot Wheels City, the animation and the tie-in to the shaker.
Yes,
it's second to none, man. I mean, again, I was sitting there watching the gameplay, and again, you're talking to an audience of pinball nuts, right? I mean, we've played. It's fair to say a vast majority of Name It, right? And we've probably played it. And I think that the theme integration you have with that shaker, with the animation, is so well done. And then build off of that. Again, correct me if I'm misspeaking here, but if I understood from what I saw, I think the decision was, hey, we've got this COVID-19, kind of pandemic situation going on. Let's divert some of those funds from marketing and put it towards applying a shaker to the first 500. Is that right?
That's absolutely true. First 500 games has a complementary shaker motor, and it's really well implemented. It's when you start a creature battle and the gorilla starts to climb up the building, and it puts its right hand and its left hand and its right leg and left leg. The game shakes with it, and it's for the especially for the first time, it really catches you off guard, and it's like, oh wow, this is cool. And then you've got the Draven who's dispatching all the creatures against you, and you've got the sheriff who's cheerleading you along your way, and Chase and Elliot, who is sort of daredevil cars and race car drivers trying to help you defeat all the creatures and race your way to become a Hot Wheels legend, so to speak. It's a really fun game. There's basically we incorporated all the different ways you can play with Hot Wheels City into the game. You can crash your cars, you can race them, you can collect them. There's over, I think, 400 or 350 some odd cars you can collect virtually in the game.
Thank you for adding that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually got by Spooky's booth at TPF, and I was like, you guys need to add collection elements in these games. Like, really. So you guys are going to make a mint, and congratulations. You're going to make a mint, and it's been very, very needed.
Thank you.
Copied for sure.
Hey, more pinballs is great for everyone. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I
Agreed.
think Yes. Yeah. But I think you just play Hot Wheels and it will speak for itself. I'm not here to sell you on the game. I love it. I'm a pinball enthusiast. Sure, I'm biased. I'm a sales and marketing manager, but I truly enjoy the game, and I stay late every night playtesting it. It's my favorite part of the job. It truly is. It's a great escape at the end of the day to get lost in Hot Wheels City and there race my way to Victory Lap multi-ball. And I follow, we're on Slack, and there's a lot of talk during the day and at night how we can improve the rules and what different ways we can adjust the scoring so that we don't want there to be one thing in this game, right? Where there's, you just do this shot on this mode and that's where all the points are. We don't want that. So we're trying to do our best to keep the scoring balanced and have multiple ways that you can progress through the game and different scoring strategies. And even for those who aren't interested in scoring, there's plenty to do. There's plenty of modes to explore. The shots feel good. It's fun. It's just a great experience. And I mentioned my big collection of, I said big, but 10 or 12 games at home. I left them in Maine, where I came from. And I've just been playing Hot Wheels for the most part, with some Oktoberfest and Houdini in between, but a lot of my time is dedicated to playtesting the newest code. And I've had a blast, and I don't expect to get tired of it anytime soon.
I wanted to ask you two questions, and one's really simple, because we've actually got a couple of questions that came up, and one of them is coming from an absolute Hot Wheels enthusiast. He collects them still. So one he wanted to ask is what your favorite car is. So I'd let you cover off on that one first, but then I did want to ask you a little bit more about that rule set, because from what I understand, the tie into RPM, if I understand, also it's a 6-ball game. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that I saw going on there. But maybe that first easy one. What's your favorite car from a Hot Wheels perspective?
Well, my favorite casting is probably the 1986 Monte Carlo Super Sport, mainly because when I first got into Hot Wheels, I worked at a service station in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, and the owners were Hot Wheels collectors. And I used to go on trips after work on Saturday, or sometimes before work on Saturday mornings, before I would do oil changes, tire repair, and state inspections. And we'd go to Walmart and Target, the various stores, to try to chase those first editions, the treasure hunts. And I caught the bug from them, and I learned that I really like muscle cars. Working summers, I worked all year round, but in particular when in New England, in the summertime, everyone would bring out their classic cars, and I do inspections on these classic muscle cars, and I said, wow, and I saw them hanging on the pegs, so I had a chance to buy a Monte Carlo Super Sport for $5,000 with 27,000 original miles, and I cleaned out my garage, and I was still living at home. I was in high school, and for whatever reason, I didn't buy that car. And I regret it. So I have the Hot Wheels now. So it's next best thing. And for a non-licensed car, I like the Roger Dodger. This guy here.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
You look like you're ready to race a train with that one.
Yes.
So I had a couple of thoughts on this too, and I watched the reveal a little bit earlier this week, and so even before really looking into the flow of the game, how the play field actually looks, how it looks like it might play, my first thing was, why didn't anybody think of this sooner? Hot Wheels it bridges the gap so well, and between the younger audience that I think pinball really needs to tap into, and the sort of older, middle-aged, if not older than that, audience who are already have a decent foothold, if we want to call it decent. It's not like pinball's everywhere or anything, but so that was my first thought. Is this is brilliant. I think if pinball wants to survive and not have another lull like we had, let's say 10 years ago, that we need to get kids into this, and this is the perfect, especially, we've mentioned this before, but being able to add your own cars into it. I mean, that feels. I don't want to speak for anybody, but that feels like it's such an easy step to implement that would make such a big impact if I was a kid, to be able to throw my favorite cars in the game and see it while I'm playing. That so simple but so effective. That's brilliant to me. And so before I even looked at it, I was like, I cannot believe that nobody's thought of this.
Great points. Well, to be truthful, it's no secret that Roger Sharp has helped us on the licensing side, and he helped us secure the license with Mattel, Hot Wheels, and this is something he pursued a long time ago, back, I believe, in his Bally Williams days, and it never came to fruition. But thankfully, now it has, and I think to its benefit. I think with the modern technology that we have with the LCD screen and the I don't know if you've seen the light show. You have to see it in person to really truly appreciate it. But the light show is gorgeous. It's 144 RGB lights in the game, including the GI. So it's like some inserts even have 3 RGB lights.
I
So
noticed
there's
that.
yeah, all sorts of effects that can happen. Color changing. It's a gorgeous game, and like you said, the speed and flow of Hot Wheels in your mind, cars racing and everything that you do as a kid when you're playing with Hot Wheels to you can interact with it's basically, it translates to pinball and everything, collecting and crashing cars and all that stuff. It's beautifully implemented into Hot Wheels, and let's face it, pinball are big toys, right? It's a good excuse for us to have fun and just play for a little while, and that's
Exactly.
okay. And whether you're a kid and you want to experience Hot Wheels pinball, or you're an adult and maybe you collected, or maybe you just had toy cars as a kid, and maybe you didn't. There's nothing wrong with living that fantasy for 3 minutes and shooting the ball around and having some fun. And Hot Wheels, in my opinion, is a perfect way to implement that fantasy and to have fun and play Hot Wheels pinball. It's
I think
great.
that's something American Pinballs has done brilliantly with Houdini and Oktoberfest and now Hot Wheels, is that and this is just a personal thing. There's been a lot of great games that don't necessarily fall into this category, but all of my favorite games are goofy, they're campy, they don't take themselves seriously. They're lighthearted, they're funny even. They're big toys. They're not necessarily monuments to their license. They are what I think pinball is supposed to be, in my opinion, which is just fun, lighthearted arcade. And Houdini, you got the magic thing, and it's goofy, and there's all these funny animations, and Oktoberfest, and all these fun callouts, and this bright play field, and it y'all have done such a great job of capturing what I think pinball should be based on, which is just eye-catching, not intimidating. Accessible to everybody. It's not necessarily, you don't need to be an expert to enjoy a game on it. And so that's something that sticks out to me when I look at y'all's current lineup, is that you all have such a vision of what you think pinball should be, and it aligns with my taste really well.
Thank you, Austin. I agree. I think we took a lot of the feedback from our previous games and tried to create a game that is accessible for everyone, and incorporates all the things that pinball should be. And I think people will really enjoy it. Just find one at your local arcade and check it out. I think it's a blast, and
Can you
give it a whirl.
can you tell me about the collection elements?
Sure. So there are 4 stand-up targets in the game. When each time you hit a stand-up, you collect a car, and it adds to your collector case. So the car targets. Once you fill your case, it unlocks mystery awards. There's all sorts of awards that you can award, that you can achieve. And one of them is if you collect enough, you can unlock a mode called Car Chaos Multi-Ball, which is a fun mode where you hit stand-ups and they light loops, and you hit stand-ups and they light ramps. And it's a really fun mode that you don't always play too often. So when you get it, it's a really fun surprise. I think there's enough variety of modes that it doesn't feel like you're playing the same game. It's not a game where it's linear, where you do this mode and you do that mode, and there's all sorts of avenues that if you want to focus on racing, work your way from 13th place to the finish line and play victory lap multi-ball, or you want to do loop crash multi-ball and see how many times you can stick a ball on the magnet at the top of the play field and crash into it for the super jackpot. Or you can rev the tachometer by shooting the RPM targets in the center of the play field. And if you max that RPM tachometer all the way to 10, it turns red, and all of a sudden you think you've tilted. What happened? All the flippers die, the balls drain, and then all of a sudden red line mania starts, and you have a timed 45-second multi-ball. The car, or the rotating car, is all of a sudden spinning, frenzied. You've got all the lights, all the shots are lit, and it's a time mode where you want to make all the different shots, and it can be very lucrative. And after you do that, complete the mode, the time runs out. You'll see how much score you got. The flippers stop, the balls drain while the engine cools, and you start back to your regular play. Now you shift it up a gear, so that those RPM targets that work with the tachometer is basically a hybrid playfield multiplier / hurry up, because the tachometer, as you hit those RPM targets, you're raising the tachometer, which raises the value of all your main shots, but the tach will drop the further time that elapses from when you're hitting the target. So you want to keep continually hitting those targets to raise a tachometer, and every time you achieve red line multi-ball, all the shots essentially double. They get more lucrative. So you can go from first gear all the way to sixth gear. And I've made it to third gear, and I've come close to fourth gear by doing red line mania 3 times. But it becomes more challenging to achieve red line mania each time. And those RPM targets are stepped. So they're not like typical stand-ups that you'd see that are in order. There's one and then the next and the next, like steps. And it really creates some unpredictable ball movement. So it's presents a real good risk reward scenario where if that's an avenue you want to go and you want to see how far you can press your luck, there's a lot of sideways action. Sometimes it comes right back to the flipper. Maybe it sends it into the pops and comes out the orbits. It's all different variables that varying ball movement that results from it. So there's no one way to play Hot Wheels, which I think adds to keeping it fresh.
Did you say there's 350 different cars in there? Is that what
virtual cars? I think it's like 360 some odd. Yeah. So I actually, when I took the glass off recently, I was hitting, trying to essentially break the game. Where can I find bugs? Or we're trying to simulate different scenarios so that the game doesn't break for you on location. Let me find a bug now, so that if we find something wrong, we fix it before the next code update or whatever. So I'm trying to break the game, and I was able to. I hit like 400 some odd car targets, and then it shows each car. So if you only hit 5, you can at the bonus collect screen at the end of each ball, you see all the cars. So it was kind of funny seeing 400 and some odd cars, all on one screen. But normally it's probably going to be like 20 something, or maybe if you're really good, 60, 70. If you're but so you can see the cars, and so we've talked about. There's no immediate plans, but we've talked about possibly adding a profile. Maybe you can save your collection, or maybe. But we're tossing around a lot of ideas, so I don't want to. Yes, me too.
Like I said, I think if the first pinball table that actually adds a collection element that's game to game like that you're just going to be rolling in money,
There's a-
frankly.
Yeah, there's some fun ideas that we're kicking around, but I don't want to spill the beans, so to speak. Again, it's a lot of preliminary. We're continually. Let me put it this way: we're continually to improve the rules. The code is essentially.
As a consumer, I can tell you, I'm just waiting for that pinball table to come out.
Thank you.
Because like that specific like profile and collection from game to game, like when that comes out, I know it's going to be a game changer. It's just a matter of who's going to be the one bold enough to do it, and then welcome to the Pokemon Go of pinball.
Right, seriously. But one thing I want to mention about the code is the code is very far along. It's not like you're going to feel like, oh, this is incomplete. It's very far along, and we're going to continue to add content to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to feel like a very complete game. It is a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're continually looking to improve it and improve on it. And we're every day looking to discussing how we can make it even better. And one of the silver linings of the delay of actually starting to ship is we've been able to really progress the code far along and add lots of fun call outs, and it's really come a long way, and it's certainly a complete game, and it's only going to get better, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
I think based on the gameplay that I've seen, yeah, I mean, I think you said it earlier, right? I think you've got a game that a novice could walk up to and enjoy as it is today, and someone who's like a Bowen Cairns could walk up and really progress to those wizard modes, those more complex games that someone like him would play. But then the other cool factor, and you touched on this too, love the way the RPM is stepped on the table. I love the car above it. And come on, those pop bumpers with the wheels. I mean, that is just genius theme integration. I mean, again, I'm gushing over it. I'm not even a Hot Wheels collector. I mean, it is so cool. I really, and again, from what I saw of it, I can't wait to play it. I mean, literally. So here's my dilemma. I mentioned to you we've got 6 pins. We're going to have to actually go to a smaller bed in our secondary bedroom to fit a 7th pin, and we've already got that 7th pin on order. And if I had seen this kind of in the time of it all, I wouldn't have bought 2 pins recently. I would have saved a spot for this, and I mean, I'm that blown away with it. I hadn't even seen it yet. And you know how it is. Sometimes you've got to buy a pin sight unseen, especially if you start collecting. And I don't really, I wouldn't get scared away with most pins in general, but with this one, it's just like, I mean, we've got an Iron Maiden Ellie in there that will never leave our possession. It'll probably be buried with us, you know.
Sure.
And I see this being, I see Hot Wheels, honestly, from what I've seen of the gameplay, I see this being one of those games for collectors. They just never want to get rid of it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm hoping I'll end up with a copy of my own. And something that you touched on, you know, customizing the game and making it your own and adding Hot Wheels. You should see some of the mods that people have already started to create. You mentioned the pop bumpers. Someone's actually made, I think they're rubber tires, that 3D tires that can go on the pop bumpers. There's I think it's the Mod Couple that have created a whole line of mods, and I think it's one of their best selections of mods that they've created. I think there's like 6 or 7 different mods that they've done. They have a 3-dimensional gorilla. They have a shadow box that goes into the Billick Scepter here that lights up, and it's got like the mini Hot Wheel car, actual Hot Wheel car, and a track, orange track. There's like in the corner. There's like I don't know if you watch racing, but there's the stand up where they do the flags, and you can put that in the corner. There's like a finish sign that goes at the end of the ramp. I think it's a kind of game that it's really inspiring a lot of people to make it their own, and I think it's the modders are going to have a lot of fun with this game because there's so much you can do, whether it's the creatures or racing or cars. It really is pardon the cliche, but it really truly is a world under glass, and it's collectors are going to have a lot of fun making it their own, and you won't get tired of this game.
I just threw those mods you were talking about. I hadn't come across that yet. Those look really sweet. I dig that.
Yeah, this really excited to see what the community is going to do, and it's only going to get better. It's very, very exciting. Very, very exciting time to be here at American Pinball. And, I'm an enthusiast. I'm here because I love pinball. I could be selling, I don't know, toilet paper or widgets. I'm in pinball because I want to be. I had a chance to sell insurance. I'm licensed to sell insurance, but
I think this is more fun.
Yeah, this is where it's at. I have a chance to be part of something, bigger than myself, and make a difference and help promote pinball. And I think more pinball is better for everyone. And I think good healthy competition is only going to make other companies produce better products, and I think that's good for everybody.
I mean, honestly, the cue that I think you've got going for you right now that I thought was just a hey, all other manufacturers listen up. Is the fact that you took those marketing dollars during the crisis and put them towards Shaker for the first 500. I mean, that may not sound like much to other people. To me, as an enthusiast and as a collector, I mean, again, that's a cue that other companies should take. And you're right. I mean, I like the fact that we've got more manufacturers in the space in general. That's a cue everyone else should take, honestly.
Thank you. And just to touch on that. Some other aspects, highlights or features, I should say, of Hot Wheels Pinball that come standard that you don't get with your typical standard pinball machine. I mean, side art is included. There's a 3D lenticular back panel that's no one's ever done before. Really, you have to see it. It doesn't photos don't do it justice. If you see it in person, the cars just really pop off the Hot Wheels City landscape. Comes with a free topper. With all due respect, $600 cheaper than the latest popular topper. It's free. It's complimentary. So, it's very exciting, and it's really is a premium quality game at standard pricing, and I highly encourage you to check it out.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, and you touched on it. I was going to touch on it as well, and trust me, I'm not here trying to sell anyone either. But again, we're consumers, right? We've bought new inbox pins, and I think you're spot on. I think what blew me away is there's a lot of upscale features in this one. Where it really creates a value price point, right? I mean, obviously you want to be profitable. You can't stay in business otherwise. When I say that, I mean it's to me it's a great price point, and I won't speak ill of anyone else because I'm more hey let's talk about the positives. And
Sure.
That's how I do everything. But you're right. I mean, when I look at some of the other pins that are out there, I kind of have a really. I mean, I think you are at a point of value where someone who is going to buy this is going to feel justified in doing so, like they got a lot of value for their dollar, and that's really what you want to walk away with in any transaction. And so I think you're spot on. When I saw this, I was just like, the artwork that you have on that table. I mean, and I've looked at quite a bit of the table, both in the live reveal, but as well as on the information you have on your website. It's top notch. I mean, again, we've got everything from pro level pins to LE level pins, and you've hit a mark with this price point. I feel where you feel like you're getting kind of an entry level price point, but you're getting a premium, maybe in some cases even like an LE quality pin. And there is a difference in the stuff that's put on those. I mean, we've got trim lines from Pro to LE. There is a difference. You've done well all around, in my opinion.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, at $62.95, the RGB lighting in particular is, I think, a really standout feature because some other companies you have to get those premium level games to have that feature. This is standard, so it just really adds to the full effect of the game. We have one model. The only add-ons we offer are physical knocker and magic glass. The shakers, at least, for the first 500 units until we sell through, we're getting there. But first 500 come with a free shaker. I think we're creating a really immersive pinball experience that everyone will enjoy. And I'm really happy to be able to promote such a great game that I truly believe in, and I couldn't be happier. It's such a blessing.
I don't want to get sidetracked when it comes to comparisons between games or companies themselves.
Sure.
Pinball, it's such a small community. That being said, one thing that definitely stood out to me when I was watching the review with Dead Flip was you mentioned this earlier, was how polished the code seems to be. Is there a different process that y'all feel like you were taking, or maybe like a more thorough process? Because what I've noticed recently is a lot of new titles from other companies come out and require multiple code updates, or seem somewhat unfinished. There are modes that may not be there yet, like wizard modes that maybe don't function quite as well as they should or aren't there at all, et cetera, et cetera. Bugs in the game, or just flat out broken shots that completely skew the scoring of the game, stuff like that. I didn't really see much, if any of that at all, when I was watching the reveal. So, is there something that y'all feel like you may do differently in that regard, or how do you approach that?
Well, I'll answer this the best I can. I've only been with American since March 2nd.
Right,
And
I
much of that
understand.
time was working from home.
Sure.
So I wasn't part of the development of the previous two games. But my understanding is, I think it was important that we understand that who wants to have that first experience of the game if the code's not complete? It's less than satisfactory. I think it was a silver lining to us having the additional time certainly helped. And we're only going to do one game a year probably. So this is our focus. This is our baby. We're not developing 2, 3 games at a time, or whatever the other companies do. I don't know, but I can only speak for American. This is our focus. This is what we're doing right now, and we're going to make the best game we can. And I can attest. I see the text messages on Slack. It's virtually 24/7. I mean, this is. We go to sleep thinking about Hot Wheels. We wake up thinking about Hot Wheels. We're trying to make this the best game we can, and we're the design team of pinball people. We love it, and we work closely with other pinball people and getting play testing in, and having the local players come in and give us your thoughts, whether they're top players or just casuals or whatever, people that just enjoy pinball. We're having all sorts of people. Tomorrow I'm having actually our IT guy. Jatin is going to come in with his son, and I've learned today. I was out on the production floor, just checking out the line and making sure, hey, how many are in boxes? How many can we ship today? And this and that. And I was carrying around my personal Hot Wheels. I mentioned earlier that I was installing the Stars and Stripes series in the game, and he saw them. He goes, "Oh, you have Hot Wheels?" Because my son has hundreds of Hot Wheels. I said, "Okay, no kidding. What are you doing tomorrow? You want to come in? Let's play Hot Wheels." So he's going to come in tomorrow, bringing his son. I told him, bring your Hot Wheels in. Let him choose his 5 favorite cars, and he can install them himself, and we'll have fun. So I want to see a child enjoy that process firsthand. I want to see it. I want to see that. And one thing that I should mention, that the games do come with the pieces of I don't know if I have it on me, but pieces of the industrial strength.
Oh, perfect.
Loop and lock.
Velcro? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's essentially Velcro. I think it's 3M, the company that we use. But
cool.
One other thing is, for operators, the games are actually coming with zip ties on the games, and we recommend for operators to leave those on. However, if you don't want to have the zip ties around the games, the clear zip ties around the game, they're actually on the bracket. There's actually a hole in the bracket, so if you want to take a number 6 sheet metal screw and screw in the car, so that it's definitely secure and an airball won't knock it off. That's part of the design. So we've come up with a couple different ways for the Hot Wheels to be mounted, so that if the car's coming off, especially on location, is an issue, that's a workaround aspect. But we wanted it was important for us to have an easy way to swap out the cars for those who want to customize the game at home, and that's that's an example of this game is for collectors. That's why the cars are on Velcro. It's
That's
so
brilliant.
that you can customize it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And there's the hole. For operators, if they don't like the look of having the clear zip ties around the cars, we get it. If you want to take, 3 minutes per car and screw it in, that's an option. So the game is for collectors as well as location pinball, and those who have play tested the game here have really enjoyed it. And the operators that I've talked to, I talked to a guy today in Missouri. It's a top earner. He's really, really enjoying having it on location, and I think it really does have mass appeal, and it's just very exciting.
Yeah, congrats. Like it's exciting to hear about, because I played Houdini. I liked it quite a bit, but this seems like a step up for you guys, and I'm happy to have, like you said, the competition tends to bring out the best across the board, and man, I love hearing about new companies pushing the envelope in every direction, and man, you guys seem to have thought about everything, including like the customizing, screwing in. That's such a long-term thing I would not have thought of.
That's a credit to Joe Balser. I mean, that's the lead designer. I mean, that was his idea and something he implemented, and I give him all the credit in the world. I think it's a really I don't want to say ingenious, but a really creative way to offer the functionality for both collectors as well as operators, and I think so. It's a great aspect to a home run pinball, and it's a small community. We want all pinball companies to succeed. I mean, I think American pinball with all games, but Hot Wheels in particular, we're showing what can be done, and I think hopefully other companies will see what we're doing, and I think if they want to implement things that we're doing, great. I think more pinball, better pinball is better for everyone, and that's what it's all about. We want better products and better games for everyone to enjoy, and we want every company to succeed and be successful.
Well said.
Agreed, totally, absolutely, yep, without a doubt.
Michael?
Do you guys have anything else you wanted to ask, Michael?
I think we've covered all the high points. I mean, a lot of the things we talked about, I think were certainly the key things that I wanted to hit on, so that everyone kind of understands why we're all so excited about it. Because I know not everyone probably has invested the amount of time, and that's the reason why to go out and look at the videos, to look at all the information. That's why we kind of do this podcast as well for the community. Some of it's local and some of it's not. I think you'll have at least a couple of sales that are directly related to people it's going to be their first pin. To people that I know locally in Dallas,
Yeah, no.
Check the lore, right?
We have a friend here in the chat that like his I've been to his house. He's never owned a pinball before. He's been at our pinball tournaments at Free Play. He races, and
Yeah, I've been. Yeah,
he collects, and he has nothing but 3D printers at his house. So this seems like the perfect thing for him. I know he's already bought Hot Wheels.
Yeah, he messaged us on Instagram, and we were texting back and forth. He's really looking forward to it, and
It's
I'm
like
so
you
happy.
it's like
I'm
you
so
made
happy
this like
about the
for
game.
him specifically. It's really insane.
Yeah, he said he was waiting to choose the right theme, and he's a Hot Wheels fan, and he's a professional racer, and this is the game for him, and he's gonna love it. I'm so happy to be part of something that gives people such enjoyment. It really, it's surreal. It's incredible. I mean, I discovered pinball by accident. I sort of fell into a gaming sales role by accident. I'm working for a pinball company. Well, I made this happen because I reached out, but it's sort of my whole life has led me to this position, and it's surreal. It's unbelievable, and I'm so thankful to be here. And thank you, Chris, for having me on, and thank you, Austin. Thank you, everybody, for having me. It's been such a great evening talking pinball with you guys.
Yeah. No, thanks.
We really appreciate your time,
Yeah,
and thanks for joining us. Thanks so much.
And I look forward to visiting Free Play Arcade as soon as possible.
Hey, let us know when you're in town.
Yep.
We want to roll out the red carpet for you.
Absolutely.
I travel a
Thank
lot, so if I'm up in Chicago way, I'll definitely hit you up as well.
Please do. Yeah, come check out the facility. I'll give you a tour and you can play Hot Wheels, maybe play with some. So
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael.
Be sure to come beat David in a competition too when you come out.
Yeah, that's
absolutely. Gladly.
Thank you. Let's see. I don't want to take up too much of his time extra. I know we got to get to the live matching game. I do want to say we have. Let's take him off so Michael knows he can go. Bye, Michael.
Bye.
We have a competition. David isn't here. He's on vacation, so I'll speak for him. He has opened up instead of a Pinball Monthly on one game, it was Iron Maiden last month. By the way, congratulations, Jay Palmer. You indeed did win this monthly tournament. But for June, for July, it's going to be in every single location. That does not mean you need to go to every single location. That means each individual location has its own competition. So if you just go to Free Play Arlington, that's cool. The link is right there. David set it up in match play where we will be taking selfies on 5 different games within each location. And I was at Arlington yesterday, so just as an example, I will point out the ones there. The tables are Firepower, Metallica, Tron Legacy, The Walking Dead, and World Cup Soccer. You'll take a picture of your score from each of those games. You can update your scores as the month goes along. You can compete in every location if you're just so jazzed about it that you want to play 20 different pinballs in competition. This is not for IFPA points. IFPA is closed down for good reason. This is a natural, socially distanced type of competition. Because you don't have to play multiplayer. You can take your time with the table, restart it. Extra balls will be allowed. This isn't that kind of tournament. It's just a competition, kind of like the monthly that we have been doing, except greatly expanded on the amount of tables that you can play, and you can do it in every single table, or every single free play. So I've already played some in Arlington. I'm going to try and play in every single free play. I mean, it's my job to get out there. So my luxury there. But, there's a link once again. There's going to be a champion on each individual free play. So enjoy this month, and I hope to continue along doing this.
Too much sense, this is a really good middle ground.
Yes, because we can't do Pinball Monday, and I'm not going to do Pinball Monday until the IFPA comes back and sets things straight. And it's really doing events during this time is stress-inducing to say the least. We're gonna have Stun Day this Sunday. I've capped the tournament. I'm glad we're open. The fighting games on Versus City are naturally socially distanced because you're literally sitting 6 feet apart. I don't anticipate having another Killer Queen competition until there's a vaccine for COVID-19. There's just not much I can do. So having some way to play pinball competitively but also casually, which this format offers both, I am so very thankful to David, our Frode friend over there who's on vacation right now, for setting this up.
Yes, that was a really great idea on his part.
Mm-hmm.
Michael's fantastic. That was such a cool insight. I've never talked to anybody who's, or at least extensively like that, who works for a pinball company in any capacity. So
is that something you'd like to do more? I can reach out.
Oh my, yeah, of course. That was very cool in more than one way. Especially because he comes from it, from the marketing standpoint, but also as as somebody who is a pinball enthusiast and plays competitively, and you could just tell how passionate he was about the game, and man, he as if I wasn't sold enough, he sold me on it. So that marketing degree came in handy there.
Well, I mean, it helps. It helps when you have a good product too. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Like
Seems like
that.
it sells itself.
Yeah, his talk about like what it feels like to work for American Pinball and work in the pinball industry, like that's parallel to my own story where I work for Free Play, but I made this job, but also like it's a passion, so it doesn't feel like work even when I'm working a ton. Um, yeah, no, I totally feel him for that. Like it's I'm lucky. I work for an arcade and I work for the greatest arcade in the country. It just kind of worked out. Also, I made it happen. I don't know. I feel for him. It's great.
Combining passion and work has always scared me. Like I've thought about that before. Like, what would it be like to work for, like a video game company or a pinball company? And I'm like, I'd be scared. I'd be scared to take it
Yeah, I
because I
don't
would
know.
hate to ruin something that I love so much by like mingling it with work. You know what I
Austin, do you
mean?
have some insight on that? You're. I always look to you for such questions.
Yeah, I think anytime your vocation and your avocation are the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
you find you're kind of in rarefied air, right? And I think it's always great when you can marry those two.
Mm-hmm. I think some of it's personality type. I'm guessing.
Probably.
Because I was talking to this exact discussion um, we had with Gyroblade, one of our panelists on the live matching game last week, who works at Bumblebear, creators of Killer Queen,
Hmm.
and I was testing the alpha builds of their game and just running it into the ground and having fun doing it and understanding what I was getting into, and it was janky and like it's already a cool game and stuff, but like I have been told for many, many years that like playtesting a game would ruin, my experience with it, and I just don't think that's my personality type. I'm this type to run tournaments and get into the gears of stuff and still want to play Street Fighter 2, for credit number 400,000 or whatever it's at now, and it's still like the first time.
You're probably right. I think a lot of it is just, perhaps it's just neurotic, but I feel like working for like a pinball company or somebody who makes video games, it would almost ruin a little bit of the magic, a little bit of the mystery for me.
Yeah, Swicket
And
has it right. You still enjoy it, but occasionally it becomes a chore. It's kind of weird. And like that's the truth. That's the way it is. Like, sometimes I don't necessarily want to play this game on this day. And oh well, I have to play it anyway. So it's a bit of a chore and it's a delightful chore.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely worse chores.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If I had
Oh
to do
no,
a
I have to
chore,
lose to Brennan at
yeah,
pinball again. Oh
if
no.
you had to do a chore, that's not a bad chore.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you guys for doing all this. We don't have a hard out, but I only obligate you guys for an hour if you got a jet. Um, we have the live matching game will be next. It'll be at 8 o'clock. There will be some sort of transition here where Lego gets on and tells me what in the world I need to be doing today. Um, I know we have 6 new celebrity panelists. Paul Varghese is one of them, the comedian. Michael Beltran's going to be one of our competitors today. So the competition is going to be more famous than the celebrities. It's going to be great.
How'd you pull that off?
Danny knows all the panelists, but
Gotcha.
as far as Mike, well, we're just blessed.
He's a busy man, I hear. So
Some days, some days.
must have got lucky.
Depends on if he's trying to secure another random Pac-Man nonsense machine.
It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to collect all that
Sure.
junk.
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to hang on. I do have to drop, but hope y'all enjoy yourselves, and obviously thanks for hosting. Yeah, there's definitely some follow up we should do. Maybe if we can pull in like the likes of Mike Vinicor. I think he's a similar person to like what we saw with Michael Grant, where again the vocation and the avocation are tied together. So it's awesome. I love talking to those people who are enthusiastic and making their work a dream job.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would love that to continue along those lines as far as the show goes, and if you guys are happy with it, and I know you have some contacts, Austin. If I don't have many contacts, but I can always just reach out on Twitter. I'm not ashamed, so I'll
I
jump on
think
there.
I think you'll find a lot of enthusiastic participants in something like this, where it's a lively discussion, and it's just the topic is something that is really near and dear to us all.
Yes.
And you've got
Yeah, we all
someone
love
who's doing
pinball.
it for a living, so it's cool.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Thank you so
appreciate it. I
much.
hope y'all have a great extended weekend, and I hope everyone is doing well. So take care. As always, I'll go ahead and sign off, and I just wanted to say that to everyone before I close.
Thanks, Austin.
Thanks, Austin.
Take care.
I'm about to follow in his footsteps. I got my League of Legends group waiting on me. About to
you
fire up some ranked. What's up?
Can you do us a favor, if indeed this is true? We weren't sure because there were a lot of birthdays yesterday, but we believe it was Amber's birthday yesterday. If that's true, give her our belated birthday wishes.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I can confirm that it was Amber's birthday yesterday. Yes.
Okay, so we wished her a happy birthday on the air. Like I said, there was like 5
It was a
community
busy
members
day. Yeah.
of the note of Amber that had birthdays yesterday. So
It sure was. I will pass that along, and I will give her a physical hug instead of the virtual hug that I'm sure that everyone else is sending, and I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Chris, thanks for having me, and I will see you next week.
See you then.